Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are here. First Friday night show, man. Man, let's get into it, man. Let me go ahead and get these nerves out the way, man. So first thing first, my name is Tribe Delontae, aka Tori Pierce, and this right here is gonna be the Tribe Views show, where basically we're gonna be covering. Main thing I'm gonna start it out on covering is what's going on in the podcasting landscape. It's almost like a greatest hits per se of what's been going on during the week, and then I'm gonna drop a little sprinkle of what I want to drop on you, and things I want to talk about from my life from it. I get better at this as time goes on, but it's gonna make sense on like how I want this to fit and go together as time goes on. So man, let's get into it, man. We're gonna start off with the recap, man, of what's been going on during the week. And the number one thing I want to talk to, because I want to put my one thing I want to start with to basically get my audience knowing is not knowing. Ooh, excuse me. I want to start on basically Market Mondays, what's been going on with Earn Your Leisure, Rashad, Ian and them. And basically just tell you, well not tell you, but give you some of the quotes and things they was talking about that I thought that if you don't already know about them, it'll be something good to know that can maybe segue you into actually following their content. So first I want to start out with my boy Rashad from Earn Your Leisure. One of his good quotes I felt like he really talked about on his well not on his but from the Market Mondays. Bro said vertical integration is the cheat code for basically building businesses. Basically, look at it like this analogy. You want to build one house with a lot of rooms and lock the doors from the inside so no one can leave. But you also want to have the rooms have everything so people don't want to leave. And when you can figure that out, you'll be rich. Bro dropped that on there. That's a nice little gem, man. I felt like, shoot, it almost makes perfect sense. And like basically this was in relationship to Meta and how Meta has basically become a juggernaut, being able to hold Facebook, Meta, WhatsApp, and now Threads, which just recently came out, and we saw what's going on in the news about Threads. So basically how Mark Zuckerberg has basically made a giant empire because everything is all wonder, not all wonder, ooh, excuse me, everything is all under one umbrella. So bro just giving good sauce right there, good game. And after him, um, the master investor, Mr. Ian Dunlap himself, he dropped some he dropped some he dropped some real good gems, man. And I'm gonna be dropping a lot of stuff that he said because I feel like a lot of stuff was really speaking to me, especially with me now being where I want to be. Like where I want, well, not where I want to be, but where I am in my journey. Bro said the main thing he said is you have to work on your craft every single day. No matter what anybody tells you, no matter what you got going on, you got to work on your craft every day. Like the smartest people in the world are working on their craft every day. And when he said that, I was like, that make a lot more sense than what a lot of people are trying to feed you. Like, bro, just do what you want to do every single day and make sure you're getting better at it every single day. And that's what the smartest people do. The smartest people aren't intelligent. The smartest people work on their craft every single day. And that just spoke to me on a different level. I hope it speak to you too, cause, hey man, it means a lot. All right, let me see what else I'm finna. Give me a second. Bim. Now I want to talk about just to segue from Meta into Meta. Let's talk about the stock. Basically, on Monday, as of Monday, the 10th of July, 2023, Meta stock was sitting at around 290 a share. This was Monday. As of Friday at market close, Meta stock right now is at 308.87. So basically, this week alone, is that? Yeah, Meta just went up $18.87 a share. So if you just so happen to get in on Monday, like your money basically went up during the week. So they talk their shit. I ain't gonna talk their shit for them. But basically, what's going on with Meta is, yeah, it closed right there, and they was going over some of the technicals of what's really going on with it over the last year. The 52 low for not 52 week low for Meta right now is at $88 a share, and it peaked in September of 2021, which is basically 2 years ago. Peaked at 378. So like basically right now we basically in the top range because for it to be able to drop all the way down to 88. Monday when they called it out, it was at 290, and today at market close, it's at 308.87. Like it's apparently trending in the right direction. So if you did get in at that time, like you looking at something good, like like I was just saying, well, not even me. You get what I'm saying? Basically, like they were saying though, like the fundamental wise, like Meta know what they doing. It's looking good. It's trending upward. Like a $18 increase in 1 week. Hey, you can't beat that. All right, let me see what else. All right, and another tidbit I want to bring you from Ian. Bro was talking about how in the history of banking, every market that is valuable, the banks want to try to get a hand in it. So basically, like main thing that's going on with the crypto space right now with XRP being not named a security and just everything that's going on with BRICS and all the money movement that's going on in the world, but not just America. Like, boys out there calling it, and man, they just be paying attention, man, because word to end, JP Morgan, Bank of America, BlackRock, and Blackstone want to be able to control the Bitcoin space. So like big banks trying to get in it, it should let you know that it's not just no scam. It's not a whoosh. It's not a, it's not for play. It's definitely for real. Because if the banks want to get in on it, then you should know what's going on. And last thing Ian was touching on, and the group at Earn Your Leisure, man, they was touching on is how it's such a big stain on America that there's not enough quality jobs and quality companies like for us to really like stick our neck out there for. And like his main reasoning for saying this was, shoot, if you watch Market Mondays, they basically talk about the same. You basically following the oh, excuse me, I just had a brain. Oh, pardon me. So basically they was just saying like how they talk about the same basically 15 companies that's going on in America, and everything else just ain't worth their weight. Like, oh, excuse me. There's just, whoo, pardon me. But yeah, just to go back to that, man, how they was just not banking on, but they was just really talking about like, it's really no, other than the top 12, top 15, there's no quality jobs or companies that Americans can really like put their hat on. Like, and it's a stain on America because especially as of right now, a lot of people is getting released, and it's just not, it's ugly out here. It's ugly out here. I'm acting ugly out here, but please forgive me. I'm a little nervous, but I'm gonna fight through it, y'all. Man, gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta work on your craft. And shoot, just the last thing to pull for Market Mondays, man. Most last thing from Ian. Most short-term news does not matter in this investing game. Only the macro long-term news that's going to be affecting you, affecting these stocks over 10 to 20 years. That's the thing that really matters. So when you ready to like fully integrate into that, just trading, being in your long-term holds for your stocks, like just know most of the time when they spread out that news to get you scared at the beginning, it's just to get you scared. It's to get you to really not load up, even though they want you to load up, because the more money in the company, the better. You got some people who are still short of stock. They'll sell it. They want to make them short-term gains. So just be watching out for that when you put your money in the stock market. No, you want to be in somewhere where you can at least hold your money 10, well, not 10, 5 to 10 years. But I'm going to get more into that as I bring you some of the tad bits from my boy Wall Street. So everything from that, if you want to really get the, well, not just the gist, but if you really want to get in on what them folks is putting out, man, Market Mondays, man, I highly recommend it. If you really want to just be in an environment where it's just talking about money, they cool, like, you know, it's just a good place to spend your time at. Like, if you're gonna watch something on TV, man, watch some folks, yo folks, talk about how to get some money, man. And also just, another shameless plug for them. They gonna be Invest Fest is gonna be in Ghana in the 27th of December. And I already did the math. If I stay on this journey, I will be doing episode 25 live in Ghana. And it ain't gonna be partnership with them. It ain't gonna be like that. At least I don't know yet. But I know, shoot, I'm trying to get my tickets and I'm trying to be out in Ghana for basically Christmas. And that's gonna be episode 25 out there for me. So, hey, if you ride with me to the end, I hope you're ready to see me in Ghana. No cap, no cap, no cap. All right, so that's all everything about Market Mondays. Now we're gonna get on to Wall Street Trapper. Bro, been going on a roll this week, man, and it all started with his Trapping Tuesdays, man. And some of the best quotes I could pull from him that he was just talking about during the week is just to piggyback off of Meta, like when I was talking with Market Mondays, to piggyback off of Meta. Main thing Wall Street was talking about when he started the show, he was like, man, you can't count Mark Zuckerberg out, man. You can't count him out. Not somebody who done made the moves he done made. And he basically say, you could tell the nature of a person when they are under pressure. And hey, he ain't lying about that one. Because when Mark was under pressure, man, Meta stock was bleeding money from building into the metaverse. He let it go. He pivoted and he got back to what he knew. And shoot, this is what everybody was banking on. And now Meta is doing what it's supposed to do. Like we kind of knew it would if Mark put his head on straight. So now, the other thing Mr. Wall Street, another thing he talks about is, man, when you in these stock holds and buys, you want to let the market tell you how long to hold a company. You want to let the market tell you, not your feelings, not fundamentals. Like the market will tell you how long you need to hold a company. He went through a list of the past, I want to say 25, 30 years, where he was talking about how every 10 years it's a new top 10 companies in the United States of America. Like almost every year, well, not every year, every 5 to 10 years, it's a new top 10 in the performance stocks in America. So like a new top 10, I mean, you really just got to be paying attention that, well, not that, but you got to be paying attention to the stocks that you actually put your time in, that you're researching, and, that you're actually going out of your way to put your money in that's basically giving you ownership of that company. So if you got ownership of a company, you need to be paying attention. And if it's time to let it go, you need to let it go. And the main thing he talks about, that it's an automatic get out of get out of stock free card. Basically, if the sales down, profit down, and market shares down, and there's growing debt. Technical difficulties on my recording was from my phone. Oh Lord, we good though. All right, we good. All right, yeah. If you're going through sales down, profit down, market share down, growing debt, you need to get out. So basically, you need to learn. You need to love the returns and not the company. And the main thing he was talking about, like how it's a lot of book info that people like try to get into when they get in these stocks, man. And the main thing he stresses is it's not enough experience info, man. Ain't nothing like experience. You ain't gonna never know what it's gonna be like to hold a stock if you don't ever hold no stock. And man, I can attest to that, man. Going back, I mean, I tied in a little later, but just going back in college when I needed a break from working, literally my last year when I was working And I basically put it down so I could focus and graduate. I remember I was looking at Market Mondays and I heard the Tesla call before it happened. I literally was able to stop working and basically put my money in a stock that actually grew, that I could sit on over time, that basically let me focus more on school because I basically made my money work for me. And shoot, that's how I graduated. So speaking from experience, like, hey, this stock game is the truth. And the main thing he was talking about after that was like how, mm, oh yeah, one of the main, well not main, but one of the best ETFs you can get out in right now, QQQ, is getting redistributed next month, and it's gonna get rebalanced. So basically, like they basically gonna they gonna redo the top three, if I'm not mistaken. You still need to go check out them Trapper Tuesdays. Just and always remember, man, I'm just gonna be bringing y'all like the greatest hit, man. The best thing you could do is go back to these programs and like really watch them so you can actually get it fully for yourself. Like I'm just here to give you greatest hits, give you a little, basically look at me almost like a commercial until I get to my part. So yeah, QQQ is getting redistributed next month. And another thing he was talking about is how literally from 2019 to now, Amazon Prime Day sales have increased significantly, mm, nearly 10% year over year, ever since 2019. So, hey, man, it's a lot of folks spending them Amazon dollars. That's all we could talk about right there. And let me see, and yeah, just the main, and other than that, Trapper Tuesdays, man, Wall Street has been in New Orleans and Houston this week, basically like teaching people in the streets about stocks. So like it's getting to the point where it really is becoming like a financial revolution, like right before our very eyes. And it's so crazy that we're seeing it on social media more than we're seeing it on the news. And that should tell you something. Like they not really making it their mission to show people out here learning. I mean, because it's enough pop up for a goddamn radio station or TV station to pop up, but they don't. So it is what it is. Um, Let me see if that's what I got from Wall Street. Yeah, that's from Wall Street. Now we going. Give me a second, please. All right, now next one. We start off with Market Mondays. Secondly, we was talking about Trapper Tuesdays. Thirdly, right now, I'm gonna talk to you about another one that just came out, new podcast that just came out. It's called Outlaws and Scholars with the young Mike Rashad and 19 Keys. It was their first episode, and honestly, if you ask me, I think it was a good one, man. They put some good gems out there. I'm gonna share some of the good gems that I thought you would like to hear, or not just like to hear, but would be enlightened to hear. All right. 19 Keys started 19 Keys started with something like very simple, just when they was just talking about people. And he was just saying, hold up. Now you know what? You know what? Yeah. I'm actually gonna start with Mike Rashad on what he talked about when he was talking about like you need to have patience with your communication. This is in all your communication in whichever life you doing. Like in, patience with your communication and dealing with relationships, business, or just regular talking to people. Like you need to have patience in how you move and really just how you communicate. It's just so important because you don't never want to jump the gun and you don't never want to just talk too much sometimes when it's really not beneficial to you in that situation. And one of the main things they talked about on this was I'm gonna basically get into all of this right here, right here, right here. Main thing that I felt was really one of the most important things, depending on how you feel about this, how about this situation I'm going to talk about. So basically, Mike Rashad brought up the fact that he had seen this documentary of the woman from the Cosmopolitan magazine, which basically what bro basically called old social media, which I mean, it kind of ring in my head, kind of a little bit. That dang, that kind of makes sense that you would, relating magazines, what everybody used to talk about, to old social media. That's really like how ideas used to get spread, like was through magazines. Just like every stuff is easily spread through radio or social media now. Like before there was social media, there was magazines, and they have magazines everywhere. So I'm pretty sure you can see how bro related that together. But basically, he was talking about how a woman from the Cosmopolitan magazine wrote a fiction novel wrote a fiction novel about a woman who smoked long cigarettes, had a high paying job, and slept with a lot of men, and she was basically living a life. And basically, back in magazine times, this went viral. Or, basically viral in their times because it's such a polarizing thing, especially around the 70s and 80s when this was going on. But it was so viral, they ran with it. And this led to it being the main energy of the magazine, and they really started write about women just doing their own thing. And this is all about the Cosmopolitan magazine. And this is when 19 Keys popped in, and he was like, but it was supposed to be a parody, but it was taken as real. And the cigarette thing ties back to Edward Burney. I hope I'm getting this name right because this name is very important. To Edward Burney, the psychologist, where he was basically popularizing cigarettes. This like during this time he was popularizing cigarettes. The cigarette companies came to him and said, "Yo, we are losing 50% of our smokers by not advertising to women because at this point it's seen as an extension of man's power." So, bro, well, not bro. So basically, Edward decided to come up with the Freedom Torch campaign, where he hired women models to light their cigarettes at a protest at the same time to show their rebelliousness against men while pictures were taken. As the propaganda started to be spread, which later was translated to PR, because we don't really hear propaganda that much unless it's somebody who's not in the main media. But basically, propaganda became code word for PR. And basically, from all of this that was going on, women started smoking because it was connected to freedom and rebelliousness, at the woman's power. But it was all based on capitalism and understanding the mechanisms of social behavior and how to connect emotions and change from desires to needs. He did the same thing with bacon, connecting bacon to a morning breakfast, hearty breakfast, and basically ended up connecting all of that stuff to health, which led to more people smoking cigarettes, eating bacon, and just all of the other products that he helped come out that has basically led to nothing but death, diabetes, and disease, like for most of the communities that fully like participate in these activities. So like these corps was really priming society for these new products that they wanted to come out. Like, and they was doing it all over media. They was doing it in magazines, they was doing it in the movies, and like they was just putting it anywhere they could to basically prime these folks for new products. And then Mike Rashad came back with just saying like to bring it back to capitalism, the government instantly two times the people that they could tax by pushing women into the workforce. And that's a real like undercover move right there, man. So like they was just talking about a lot of deep stuff that was just really like just hitting a lot of deep stuff that was just like really getting into just really getting into like what's been going on in America, man, and how a lot of this stuff is more connected than we think. And shoot, man, it's all about just being true to you, man. Paying attention. All right, let me see how long. All right, we around 20. Bam. All right, we back up. We back up. My fault. My fault. Forgive me. It's a lot of going ins and outs. So you know what? Yeah, like I was saying, we done hit around 25 minutes. So I am going to drop the recap for right now. I will do some more recap later. But right now, I don't want to hold too much over your time. So I'm finna get into the main part of what I really wanted this to be about. Now, I am sweating. Sweating a little bit. It's all gravy. All right. So basically, this episode, I wanted it to be called Delontae versus Tori. And I want this basically to be my live autobiography. And so if you've made it this far, you in for a doozy, man. I hope you're ready. So it all started, man. I was born January 6th, 1995. My earliest mem- my earliest memories are gonna have to be being with my dog, being with both my mom and dad that I can actually remember, and just watching cartoons in my own room, man. Like as early as I can remember, I can actually remember some of them first couple years. And then, man, life started lifing, man. My dad went to prison when I was 3. And the next 5 years was basically a little crazy. Just me and my mom together, going through it. And while it was mostly a blur, a couple of important things happened during those years. But one thing I will say before my dad left, I do remember him saying this because I remember this before he even went. Like I remember him telling me as a child, man, find a way to work for yourself. I remember him beating that into me. I wonder if he knows that it actually stuck with me this whole time. But man, yeah, my father went to prison for 5 years, man, and every birthday and every well I ever passed, like especially in the mall back in the day, like I used to flip coins in there, and I wish my father would come home early. And crazy enough, I don't know if it was manufactured this way, but my dad did come home one day early, man. And that's one thing that sparked the idea of manifestation in my head. So, hey, ever since then, man, like life just been different. My grandma Mary, Lord rest her soul, rest in peace. She would take me with her to these homes where she worked at, where she was basically a helpmate for these wealthy people. And like she basically just had me in that environment and that exposure to extreme wealth at an early age. Like she just made sure I saw it early. And like just looking back, man, I remember like in the 90s. Like this was before this was before big flat screen TVs. Now, man, I remember these folks had a TV in the wall. And this was in the early 90s, man. And that's an image in your head that you don't never forget that one. And then, oh man, my mom tried to put me in football, like pee-wee, basically. And I went out there, I probably made it through one practice before I came up to her and I was like, yo, it's not my time. Like football just ain't for me right now. And man, she was very heartbroken. She understood, but she was heartbroken. She hated, yeah, she didn't like that at all when that was going on. And then after that, man, basically we would be out on our own, and yeah, we would be out on our own, back and forth, basically between having our own spot and living with my grandma Judy. And at times, man, growing up, let me see, growing up, my mother told me the most important thing I ever heard, like as we was going back and forth and basically dealing with life. She was like, "Ain't nothing in this world like your own shit, Tori. Nothing." And that's something that is literally stuck with me all my life because ain't nothing like what you own. Ain't nothing like what you go get out and work for. Like I want to always thank Dukes for giving me that real strong message. Like ain't nothing in this world like what you own. Ain't nothing in this world like your own shit. Like nothing. Like nothing can compare. And I really thank her for putting that on me, man. Yeah, and from there, man, it was a lot of stuff going on, waiting on pops to get out. But basically, when my father got home, I was in a very blissful state at first, especially seeing, he came home one day early. But sadly, I saw basically the full deconstruction of my parents' relationship with my own eyes. Like I saw it with my own eyes, basically that it wasn't gonna work, and that I had to sit on it and basically deal with the fact that my parents just was never gonna get back together. And it's so crazy because I used to have a yeah, it used to be a family friend, bro. Used to always tease me every time he see me. He'd be like, "Bro, you still want your parents to get back together?" Almost just because it's so crazy how it happened. But man, yeah, there was a point, man. I just that's really all I wanted. But life is what life does, and that's just how it be sometimes. And sadly, it showed me that some relationships just don't last. And ever since that point, seeing both of them, well, not both of them, but seeing them relationships unravel in front of me. Well, not them, their relationship unravel in front of me. Like I had seen multiple, and for different reasons, like they just crumbled right in front of me, man. And like it just showed me, like, yeah, relationships is it's not perfect. It's a lot of life that be going on in relationships. But let me get back to you know what's going on here. But that's mostly the poor stuff that's going on in life. Let me touch on the most important parts I feel like that happened in my school life. First grade, Miss Johnson, one of my favorite teachers of all time at E.L. Miller. My mother basically gave her permission to pinch me and do push up, like basically to pinch me and assign me push ups. Like imagine being in kindergarten and you see a dude in the class getting pinched by the teacher and doing push ups because the teacher told him to do it. You're probably gonna laugh at that guy, or you're probably gonna be like, bruh, like, why is she making you do this? And you gotta tell folks, man, my mom basically gave her permission to discipline me. But man, that showed me that she actually really cared, and I love, I love the fact that, well, not love, but I learned that it really takes a village early on, man. It really takes a village, man. Cause yeah, man, just going to school. If I would have just went and somebody who didn't want me to be great, it would have been crazy. Cause lo and behold, I ended up getting honor roll that year. Second year was kind of a blur. It was very different for second grade. I want to say I lived with my cousins for a semester, and me and my mom had our own spot. That happened, and yeah, basically that happened, and we learned how to. Oh, well, not we learned, but it basically was just a lot going on second grade year. It's just all over the place. But that's after that's first and second. Third grade, Miss T. Williams. This was the craziest school year I want to say I've ever had in my life because crazy enough, man, I ran away from school because my sub wouldn't let me eat lunch. Like they really tried me. Like I thought it was so crazy that they really like it was a substitute teacher telling me like I can't eat my food. Like you finna tell a child they can't eat? Yeah, I definitely ran away from school with my lunch tray in hand. And yeah, man, yeah, that was very crazy. My mom, yeah, they called 12, everything. My mom had a nervous breakdown and she was like, Tori, why did you run away from school? I was like, man, them folks tried to tell me I couldn't eat and I was hungry. But oh man, yeah. And crazy enough, man, the same year I ran away from school and had caused that all that ruckus was the same year I got principal's list. So it just comes to show like, hey man, when you bought that life, you bought that life. And after that, man, I want to say we get in the fourth grade, man. I had my first male teacher, Mr. Patton. Great to be around. And it was just it's really crazy when I think about it, man, that I didn't get my first male teacher till fourth grade. Like everything else was women, growing up around women. So like it was just good to finally finally be around somebody positive, a male role model that, that's not just around the house or just not around the neighborhood. Like somebody you could see, you go to school, brush shaped up, bro, suited up. Just some good to be around, some good to see. And I want to say we moved again fourth grade. I don't remember everything though. My fault. Yeah, I'm a little lost around there, but I do remember where. Oh no, I messed up my. Hold up, give me a second. Okay, yeah. So basically, yeah, we tried to do a move again, but that didn't work once again. But this time, I had got accepted into the magnet program. Ooh wee, the magnet program. Once I got in the magnet program, fifth grade, I basically my whole school life changed. I started waking up basically 6:45, around 6:45 in the morning to get on the early bus, the shuttle bus that take you to the shuttle, and then you ride the bus from the shuttle to school. So I basically used to have an hour and 30-minute commute to work. Well, not to work. Look at me thinking that now. Not to work, but to school. I used to basically commute an hour and 30 minutes in the morning every day to school. And fifth grade, man, I was at Clifton, which is now known as Barack Obama Elementary, crazy enough. Yeah, they tore down my school and they made it anew. But yeah, back in fifth grade, it was Clifton, and I had the worst teacher of all time in my entire life, which had to be Miss Brown. Crazy enough, no cap, Shawty actually kicked me out of my chair one time. Like, grown ass teacher actually kicked me out of my chair one time. She had a problem with me because I don't know, man. She just had a problem with me. I don't know what it was, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, this was around the time where I just hated homework. So like, I don't know if she had a problem with me not doing homework, but I used to always get the work done in class. And hey, man, at the end I still passed, even with her with so much vitriol. And it's so crazy, just like how all of this was going on, how she would just be always trying to, yeah, like how she would always be trying to fuck with me in class, like when it's supposed to be like you're a teacher, like you're supposed to be teaching me, you're supposed to be teaching me and the class. You're not supposed to be fucking with us. Like you're not supposed to be trying to down us. Like you're not supposed to be trying to stunt our growth. You're not supposed to be anti-teaching us. I never forget. I had an answer to a question one time and I brought her to my computer because this is around it's so crazy how all of this happened because this is around the time where email came out, and with email out, like they wanted the cab county, they wanted us to start early, so they basically had us got dang, we started our own email. But basically, long story short, yeah, I was on my computer and I came up with an answer to something, and Shawty literally pulled up on my computer and told me, even though she seen the answer on there, she said, "You don't even know what that is." And literally, oh yeah, that's something you don't forget. Yeah, she gonna tell me I don't know what something is. Man, life's so crazy when you go back and like really just examine the stuff you go through, man. Cause you'll see, bro, like when yeah, some people just got vitriol and just hate in their heart, man. Because I damn near begged her to come back. Cause I was like, yo, I can explain it to you. But she wasn't trying to hear it. But yeah, man. Just yeah, fifth grade was crazy. Excuse me on that. But yeah, and just the crazy thing about all of that, even though I passed, it wasn't until the end of the year when my mom got to talk to other parents that she saw that I wasn't capping and lying about how Shawty used to treat me. Like, this really tested our relationship and it made it stronger because it's like, bro, why don't you believe your son? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but that's how I was feeling at the time. It's like, how can you not believe your son? Like, you really think I would be coming to you telling you teachers like kicking me out of chairs and stuff like that, like for fun? Like, nah, not for fun. There's definitely a lot of crazy stuff going on. But yeah, and after that, man, yeah, before I move into middle school, I want to touch on this last thing right here, man. The craziest question I remember hearing in elementary school, I'll never forget, man. This chick asked me at the lunch table, man. Shada was like, "Why do you love yourself so much?" It was like Shada was literally so amazed that me, a young man, like, it was like who people would always, I mean, I won't say I was, yeah, like just people would always try to tease or like just try to fuck with me. Like how could I be so full of life when it's like it's so many people trying to tear me down each and every way. And man, that's junk crazy. Cause it's like, why even act something crazy like that in elementary school? Like people was hating that hard, man, as young kids, man. Like, well, not even I ain't gonna even say that was hate, like, cause that's obviously something you going on. That obviously had to be something that was going on with her because, you know, how can you ask somebody else how do you love yourself so much if you don't love yourself at all? So you gotta ask yourself, like, really, when you asking certain type of questions, you gotta be like, am I asking like you or am I asking myself? Like, oh man, yeah, elementary school was crazy. Now let's get into middle school and then, mm, yeah, let me get into middle school and then I'm gonna get y'all out of here, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time, regardless of how you decide to consume this information or consume this live. Yeah, man, Columbia Middle School, craziest year and a half of my life, probably maybe of all time. Like Columbia Middle School was definitely a time. I finally started playing football at Glenwood Hills Park. This time I actually loved it and it became my sport until I graduated. But not only that, I started to play my first instrument, the alto saxophone. I never forget when I picked up my saxophone for the first time. My love for music grew tremendously. Like just being on that band, it was a concert band at the time, middle school. Being on that concert band, man, yeah, man, ain't nothing like good music. And that's one thing they really showed me. Ain't nothing like making your own music. Well, not making your own music, but being able to play music, being able to, play an instrument, it's gonna change my life. And it changed the way I looked at music because I always had a love for music because I was like, man, I play an instrument, man. How can I not love music? I like once you pick up an instrument, you basically put yourself into music theory. So like, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody who knows how to play an instrument who don't love music. But basically, yeah, that's most of the clean stuff, man. Middle school is when I really, really got into a lot of fights. A lot of fights. Being in the Cab County at that time, I want to. Ooh, what year? What years were those? What years were those? Let's see, 10. It's 2005. So basically, from '06 to '08, the Cab County middle schools. Hey man, excuse me, you had to be ready, man. It was crazy out there. Ooh, excuse me. It was crazy out there. Excuse me. It was crazy out there, man. You had to be ready to defend yourself almost at all times, man. Anytime during the day, man, you had to be ready to ride for yourself, man. At least for me, with how life was going, and especially just wanting to be my own, like just I always wanted to be my own person. Like I may pull from some people or, I may get this and that from this and there, but I always try to have my own spin on things and always just be myself fully. And man, I felt like, man, if you really, really wanted to be yourself in the Cab County, you had to be able to fight for it. Well, not had to be able to. You had to defend yourself at all times because people will pull you from all different ways. It's the people who will try you because they think you lame. People who will try you because they think, oh, he won't hit me. Oh, he'll let me disrespect him and he won't touch me. It's some people in the world, bro, you do not want to try that with. And at that point, and still to this day, thank God I ain't got to show it no more. But at that point, bro, it was do or die, bro. Well, not do or die, but it was it was on go. I was definitely on go. I never forget one time. Oh, bro, crazy enough, man. This man threw. If you ever been in school, well, not if you ever, bro. If you was in school and you remember the smaller dry erase boards, it was probably I want to say probably about the size of my notebook right here. It used to be a dry erase boards like you pass them out. Everybody have dry erase boards so y'all can all draw on it and do stuff like that. But bro, crazy enough, man, bro threw it at me and it hit me right here in my nose, and it was like it was just bad. I think I ain't gonna say I was bleeding, but I know I was like it had a little cut. And bro was like, "Bro, yeah, I threw it at you, but what you finna do?" Like almost like he didn't care that he just basically hurt me. And that's when I proceeded to hit him upside of the head with the dry erase board. Did I get suspended or ISS? I wouldn't be surprised if I did, but I do know I basically hit bro back. Like I didn't let it slide. Like and that happened plenty times in middle school, man. Like and it wasn't just me. It's you could see it almost happening to everybody. Like people that just try who they feel like they could try. And the best thing you could do for them people is show them that you're not the one to be tried. Like that's just how I feel. Like you can't let anybody disrespect you or your space. And that's the most respect you can really do, man, is showing respect for yourself in your own space. Like standing up for your own space. I always respected that too. But basically, yeah, like that's what was really going on, man. It was just a lot of fighting going on. And yeah, it was a lot of fighting going on. In and out of school. And man, it was just a lot of crazy things going on around that time. I can't really remember much of what was going on in school because I can tell you. Um, First, let me lead into seventh grade right here. So seventh grade, like I got in deep trouble because of some comics that I drew that basically had shooting in it. It was like stick figures, but I basically drew stick figures with little fake guns. And the school thought I could be a threat. So they suspended me for a whole week. And literally, right after this suspension, everything after that, like it just went downhill. Like I got suspended, but when I came back, I basically lost approval. I think I failed a couple classes, and I basically got kicked out of the magnet program, and I went back to regular school, back to Redan Middle, and that's when I want to say life kind of smoothed out. Kind of yeah, life smoothed it out a little bit when I got back to Redan, and just being I want to say probably back in familiar waters, being back with friends who I've been with since early elementary and early first grade instead of friends that I became friends with in fifth grade. Like it's a lot more familiarity back then or back there. And I want to say it really smoothed me out. And eighth grade, man. Eighth grade was probably one of my smoothest school years, man. Me and my I felt like me and my mom was both just like at an equilibrium, man, where we had got to this point where we both was just we was in our zone on what we was doing. I was going to school and going to football practice, and she was basically working two jobs, making sure we had our own spot. Mm, thank you, mom. Always so crazy looking back now, bro. And yeah, man. So yeah, basically, me and Dukes, man, we had our own spot. We were both like in great spots in life, like just doing what we do. And man, I'll never forget, man. I asked my partner. I wonder if he still remember, man. My boy Nate. Hopefully he look at this video and he actually comment on it. But yeah, man, my homeboy Nate, man. Crazy enough, man. Eighth grade, middle school. Tori Pierce, me. Man, I asked my partner straight up, bro, on the phone, bro, would you care if I killed myself, bro? And I just remember telling myself, I don't know, man. I just remember going through it. I don't remember exactly what brought me to this point, but I know I asked my homeboy, like, bruh, like, would you care? And that joint was just on my mind. And it's like, it's crazy enough thinking back, like what I used to manifest in my life, because I remember telling myself that I would rather die than live a mediocre life. And it's so crazy that I actually said that to myself. And I remember that in my memory bank. Like, this is really something I put over my life because I didn't want to live regular, man. I knew what I was coming from and I knew what I wanted. And it's so crazy looking back and thinking on it now because it's damn near like I fully believe that I manifested basically suicidal thoughts on myself when I felt I wasn't living to my potential. And I feel like that's something I've dealt with since then and I still kind of deal with now. Like, bro, like ain't one I ain't gonna say I ain't at no kill myself place now cause like I'm loving life, I'm loving this journey, but I always feel that thing in the back of my head where if I feel like I'm not really pushing myself, if I'm really like just feel like I'm just being mediocre. Like cause ain't nothing about me mediocre. It's really not. Like almost everything I do and participate in, like people always have positive things to say about me and my contribution. And I be well, not all the time, but sometimes I let the goddamn naysayers be like, "Oh, bro, like, oh, you ain't really this, you ain't really that. This shit is mediocre. This, that." But I always kept my head high, man, and yeah, even through dealing with them thoughts, man, I never wanted to give up. Like I've always like fully sat in my pain and fully dealt with what's going on, and man, it led me to here. It led me to start back. Well, not start back because I'm fully starting now. It led me to start this. And yeah, right now, that's basically almost everything that's been going on in my life up until, yeah, from me being born up until ninth grade. Yeah, and that's first episode. I'm about to say I'm around 50 minutes. My recorder say I'm around 50 minutes. And man, ooh, this one was crazy right here, dog. This one was crazy right here, man. Hey, man, if you do get all the way through it, because I know there's a lot of people who dropped in and dropped out. I just want to thank you for even if you just dropped in for a second, man, like live. I just want to thank you, bro. Sis, like, I just want to thank you because, like, I'm really finna be doing this. And Lord have mercy, I gotta get better. Cause ooh wee, if I had to give myself, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with this on my own podcast. If I have to give myself an honest grade for my first one, man, maybe a 5, maybe a 6. I want to say I did too many ums. I don't think I have, and it's crazy because I got scripts. I got a script wrote down like I had, but I got to get my flow right. I got to get my flow right. So it's not even the scripts. It's about me getting my flow right. It's about me being more confident. It's about me being just. It's just about me doing it every just doing it more so it'll become more natural. Looking at a screen, talking to folks, seeing people come in, seeing people leave, seeing viewer count go up, seeing it go down. Like, I need this. I gotta do this. I gotta keep my head in the game because hey, ain't no quitting, ain't no turning back. So man, I want to thank y'all for coming through. I want to thank you for showing love. And I want to thank you, man, for bringing some positive energy, man. It's a lot of people that came in and they just joined. Like, and that was enough for me. Y'all kept me going. Hey, man, share this out if you want to. If there is something in here that you found, like, I want, yeah, if you found it profound or you want to just leave a comment or something, man, do it. This will be going, this live will be saved. This will be chopped up on YouTube also. And, I'm going to figure out what to do with that. But until next time, man, thank you. Peace. Cause see, I ain't got nobody to bounce off of. I ain't got nobody to bounce off of. That's really what's killing me. I ain't got nobody to bounce off of. I ain't got nobody to be like, ooh wee. Oh shit.